All right, good evening. Happy New Year. That's what we're going to start this off with. Thank you all for joining us online. This is our first meeting of the year. Thank you to the students joining us and Mr. Shamp. So today is January 10th, 2023, and this is the regular meeting of the South Euclid-Lyndhurst School Board meeting, actually our organizational meeting. Time is now 5:33. Mr. Hill, may we get a roll call?
Ms. Falkenberg?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Here.
Ms. King?
Here.
Ms. Lee?
Here.
Mrs. Ryan?
Thank you for that. We can go right into the Pledge of Allegiance.
For the organizational meeting?
Yeah, well, she want to do that and then. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, good evening, everybody. As part of the special meeting for our Board of Education, what better way to celebrate and thank our board members for their hard work than our own Brush High School Jazz Band playing for them. So, Mr. Shamp, let you take it on.
Sure. Thanks for having us, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Brush High School Jazz Effect. It's our first period jazz ensemble. We do have another one that meets after school on Tuesdays or Thursdays, 1 or 2 days a week. This is the Brush Jazz Effect, a portion of our first period jazz ensemble. The first tune we're going to do is from the movie Monsters, Inc. This is If I Didn't Have You. I bet you'll recognize the next one. The other one we're gonna do for you tonight is kind of a funk tune. You'll recognize it, I promise. I'll introduce the soloist when we're done, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, ready.
Stephanie Ryan.
We on the radio. Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Ready? All right, well, that was a nice treat. I like that first song. What was it?
Oh, but
What-
Mustard Lane?
Right, what was the title of it? Without, Where Would I Be Without You or something like that?
Yeah.
That kind of hit me as a board member. So,
That's a nice one.
it was. I appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna backtrack back to that organizational
Yes, please.
meeting.
And we could forego it.
2.1.
No.
2.1.
Oh, no. Nominations.
Nominations.
Oh, yeah, we did the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah. I kind of threw it very off.
All right, just because we wanted to get the students in and out first and not hold them up. So we will go over to the organizational agenda. Organization of the board for 2023. No, Josh, I always mess this up, so I'll just read it like you say read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nominations for board president. The presiding board president calls for nominations for president. A second is not required in this action. Do we have any nominations that want to hit the floor?
I'd like to nominate Cassandra Jones for president.
We got Stephanie Ryan nominating Cassandra Jones. Any other nominations on the floor? If no other nominations, I ask for a motion to close nominations.
Second.
A second is not required.
Oh, sorry.
Who was that motion from? Catherine.
It was a freebie.
May we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. King,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
All right, item 2.2, election of the president. Vote will be taken for each nominee of board president. If only one nominee, board members are to reply yes or no. If more than one nominee exists, doesn't apply. May we get the nominee, Mr. Hill?
Nominee Cassandra Jones. Roll call. Ms. Falkenberg,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan.
Yes.
Do you want to do the oath now? Yeah. Do I say thank you after the oath, just in case I pass out? Yeah. Get my good sides.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as President of the Board of Education of Southeast of Lyndhurst City School District, Cuyahoga County, Ohio, to the best of your ability, and in accordance with the law now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. I will do that. So I guess this is where I can speak, right?
Yes.
I couldn't do it before the oath, just in case I passed out, then it wouldn't have been official. So, I just want to say thank you to my colleagues for trusting me. I know I don't always do everything right. I know I'm not always the most pleasant or timely, but I appreciate that you look beyond my flaws and you see my intentions. So I want to say thank you again for allowing me to sit in this position. I don't take it lightly. We all know this job is thankless, but when I sit around this table with this administration and my fellow members, there's my thanks, in addition to the families and the children that we serve. So I just want to say thank you again for trusting me, and I will try to be better than I was before, and we will move forward together and be better as a whole for the district. can go into nominations for vice president. May we get a nomination for vice president?
I nominate Aaron Lee for vice president.
Ms. Ryan nominates Aaron Lee. If there are no other nominations that I hear, may we get a motion to close nominations, Mr. Hill?
So moved.
Ms. Ryan, no second is needed. Oh, a second is required.
Second.
Way to be on it, Ms. King.
May we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Election of vice president. A vote will be taken for the nominee that has been rendered. Board members are to reply yes or no. May we get a call of the roll?
Ms. Falkenberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
All right. We will now have our oath for the vice president.
Can I have my picture taken for the website?
Yes, Mr. Capel?
I just messed with Mr. Gill.
Are you?
No, I was really just messing with him.
You wanna turn this way? How you going? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as Vice President of the Board of Education of South Euclid-Lyndhurst City School District, Cuyahoga County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do.
Congratulations.
Any comments, Ms. Lee? If none, you can
I
pass.
enjoy working with you all. I appreciate all that you all do. Thank you to my fellow board members. I enjoy doing this with you all. I was telling Cassandra the other day, the past couple of weeks, I have been thinking about cause and effect, and where we affect change. And I will say this board right now, I see us doing some very positive things, and that excites me. So I look forward to this continued journey with you.
Item 3, establish the 2023 board meeting schedule. Did everyone get a chance to take a look at that schedule? Did we see any corrections?
We said November, we'll come to it then, we'll talk about it.
Yes, I did look. Capitol Conference has not posted a date
That's
yet,
fine.
so I did look. South Euclid-Lyndhurst Board of Education approves the proposed 2023 regular and special board meetings and the 2024 organizational meeting and the January 2024 regular meeting as reflected in the attached appendix in our notes. May we get a motion to approve item 3?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lee, Ms. King. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Item 4, general business, 4.1, service fund. In accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 3313.15, South Euclid-Lyndhurst Board of Education does hereby establish a service fund. This is allowing funds to be set aside in an account with the general fund that is hereby appropriated for the purposes of said service fund, sum of up to $20,000, which shall be incorporated into the appropriations of the South Euclid-Lyndhurst School District for each fiscal year. Item 4.2, Treasurer's Annual Resolution. I do believe that was attached as well. I'm not gonna read through all of those, but these are regular, ordinary, start of the calendar year items that need to be in place to allow us to continue moving forward in the new year. Item 4.3, authorization for purchasing and contract signing. Again, another function, as the rest of these are as well. 4.4, authorization of payment of bills. 4.5, authorization to invest funds. 4.6, authorization of the superintendent to hire staff between board meetings. 4.7, authorization for the superintendent to accept resignations. 4.8, stipends. 4.9, authorizations for overnight field trips related to OHSAA contests and tournaments. 4.10, OSBA membership agreement. 4.11, special education placements. And 4.12 is the approval of general business items as presented, 4.1 through 4.11. May I get a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg and Ms. Lee, any questions or comments?
I just had a question on the service, where's that? The service fund. Is that for needs within the district?
No, the service fund is for the board, and it allows you guys for professional development and travel to go, so like to go to OSBA and things like
Okay,
that.
thank you.
So service of board
Yes.
activities that are
Okay.
approved by the Ohio Revised Code ordinance. Any further questions or comments?
I think, Cassandra, that's a good point to make, that the service fund, we can't spend it just
No.
any willy-nilly way.
Yes.
Just for the general population. There are specific rules and laws set out by the Ohio Revised Code, which we follow, so very often we don't even spend most of that. It's typically only towards our OSBA reimbursement,
Yes.
and so it's minimal.
Yeah.
And that's, the majority of these items, just to clarify too, are, like you said, standard business, but they are to allow us to function as a district in between board meetings. The majority of the stuff just allows us to act, whether it's me paying the bills or
Right.
Linda acting in accordance.
And bill hiring.
Yes.
Hearing no further questions or comments, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. King,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
Item 5.1, OSBA Legislative Liaison and OSBA Student Achievement Liaison appointments for the upcoming year.
We're just checking to see
If they want.
Did you want to keep them since you were
Strike
doing the,
them.
okay.
I mean, whoever's the legal one, the legislative liaison, you're gonna have a lot of stuff to say.
Yeah, I know.
So,
So South Euclid Lyndhurst Board of Education appoints Catherine Falkenberg as the board's Ohio School Board Association Legislative Liaison, and Ashley King as the board's Ohio School Boards Association Student Achievement Liaison. May we get a motion to approve item 5.1?
So moved.
second.
Ms. Ryan, Ms. Lee, any questions or comments?
Thank you both for continuing those roles.
I'm excited, especially with the way Ashley's doing hers.
Yeah, you were just getting rolling.
I am, so
Thank
it'll be
you
a good
both.
year. Yes.
All right. Smile, Catherine, smile. Legislation does nothing but get better.
You know what I was gonna say, Kathy, you can email us certain things though too, if you don't wanna bring it, cause it's been a lot. You can email it to us.
Well, I've asked Josh some things, but I swear these people in state, and I'm sure it's national as well,
Yes.
the way that they speak and write is the most convoluted way. It makes me crazy.
They don't want anyone to understand what they're doing.
Yeah, truly.
You wanna
But they don't
send
know
out
we
your
got
edits.
Catherine Falkenberg.
This is wrong.
English teacher right there.
Hearing no other questions or comments, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. King,
Aye.
Make me choke, Catherine.
Item 6, legal counsel. 6.1, board legal counsel. Another function where we authorize the board superintendent or treasurer to employ any legal firm necessary during the course of the year. Item 6.2, legal counsel for board of revision hearings. This allows the Board of Education to authorize the treasurer and the law firm to act as agent for the Board of Education relating to the filing and signing of real estate. Item 6.3 is approval of the legal counsel items as presented, 6.1 and 2. May we get a motion to approve such?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg, Ms. King. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. King,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Item 7, minimum wage and mileage rate. 7.1 is the authorization to pay minimum wage. This allows the Southie Lyndhurst Board of Education hereby authorizes the treasurer to pay the state of Ohio minimum wage to those individuals that are paid under the minimum wage provision. May we get a motion to approve 7.1?
You can take them both together. That
So
voting
moved.
thing shouldn't be there.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not there.
agreed.
Let me, just go into the second one too then, sorry. 7.2 is the authorization to pay standard mileage rate. That is the authorization for the treasurer to pay the IRS mileage rate to those individuals that are to be reimbursed for mileage for the 2023 calendar year. May we get a motion to approve items 7.1 and 7.2?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Ryan and, who was that, Ms. Walkenberg?
Ms. Lee.
You can give it to Ms. Falkenberg.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Item 8, substitute rates. 8.1, the authorization to pay substitute rates. May we get a motion to approve item 8.1?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lee?
Yeah, it's a
Ms.
write-in.
King. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
We got to write her in there?
Yes, she's a write-in.
That's a writing candidate.
Somehow you're
Alright.
missing there.
Item 9, recognition of board members. Is that yours?
Yep, that's me.
Sorry.
Yeah. We'll see if I can do this. I haven't had have a mask for a while. My glasses are fogging up. As we mentioned earlier this evening, January is the board recognition month, and so glad that our jazz band could come out and play for very deserving members of the Board of Education. This is my 11th year here in South Lyndhurst, and it's been a real pleasure working with each and every one of you, and I really appreciate it. I don't think a lot of people really know really how much time goes into being a board member, and I think one of you said it before, it can be a very thankless job. There's, when you come to the board meeting, there's a lot of reading that happens beforehand and making sure that, yes, questions are asked at a board meeting, but there is a lot of time behind the scenes that they spend, as well as attending events and supporting our students. So on behalf of this leadership team, I'd like to take a few minutes to read something and thank you for all that you've done for us. As citizens who serve students and represent their communities, school board members face complex and demanding challenges, and I have to tell you, in my 14 years as a school superintendent, the challenges have gotten either greater. So the month of January is designated as School Board Recognition Month to honor those individuals who go above and beyond for all Ohio schools and their students. They are extraordinary people who voluntarily tackle the enormous job of governing school districts and do so in a manner that illustrates what it means to be an incredible advocate for our students here in SEL. School board members come from all walks of life. While they come from different backgrounds and live different lives, these individuals, and I can say the individuals seating before us, have a common goal of helping our students grow, learn, and enjoy their educational experiences here in South Lyndhurst School District. While they may have individually disagree on certain issues, their role as board members is to consistently strive towards the goal of day in, day out of providing the best opportunities for our students here. Board meetings are just a fraction of the amount of time and energy that school board members devote to leading their districts. There are seminars and conference and training sessions that they go to keep up on the latest trends in the classroom, with school funding, and as I mentioned earlier, it's gotten more and more complicated every year to become a board, to be a board member. They are deeply involved in community activities and spend many hours in schools and extracurricular activities, as well as I've never seen a board that attends the city council meetings both in South Euclid and Lyndhurst on a regular basis, and I think that's a great way to communicate. As I said before, it is often a thankless job. So everybody, let's take a moment to give our appreciation and thank our school board members for their time, dedication, and their leadership. Thank you very much. And as a token of our appreciation, you have a Legacy Village bag, ooh, and obviously a certificate, and so please know that we enjoy and appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reed, and the administrative staff. You all make it easier, because it's not easy, but you make it easier. So we do. Thank you so much for always continuing to recognize us, even when it is in January. Adjournment of the organizational meeting. Now we get a motion to adjourn. It is now 6:03.
So moved. Second.
I don't know, Ms. Ryan, Ms. Lee. May we get a roll call with,
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Miss, still says the wrong name on there.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
What you trying to do?
Mrs. Falkenberg?
And aye.
Ms. Falkenberg? Mrs. Jones?
aye.
And Ms. Key.
Aye.
All right, and we can go right into our regular meeting.
Yep.
It's now 6:04. Call this meeting to order, Mr. Hill. Here. Nobody has left.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Here.
Ms. King?
Here.
Ms. Lee?
Here.
Mrs. Ryan?
Here.
We can go right into our liaison reports. Item 2.1, we've got a legislative report.
We do indeed. Thanks to Mr. Hill for helping me with a couple of these. There are several because of the time when they were not meeting, so several of these bills appeared on, or have been sitting on the governor's desk and have since been passed. We have House Bill 554, which requires the State Board of Education to issue two-year temporary educator licenses to applicants with expired professional teacher certificates and professional educator licenses as long as they meet certain requirements. Excuse me. This is, helping for many of our teachers who have retired, and now we're trying to fill in these empty spaces, basically. It also, along with Senate Bill 356, it increased the eligibility age from 6 to 9 regarding the education of children experiencing developmental delays and state operating funding for districts and schools educating such children. And then finally, I really liked this. The bill allows children of a military family who participate in College Credit Plus courses to either complete remotely or to withdraw without academic or financial penalty if the military family has to relocate, which happens so often. We have Senate Bill 288 that updates employment laws. I thought this was interesting what they've pushed into this bill. As they pertain to Head Start agencies. The bill also includes House Bill 105, which requires public schools to provide developmentally appropriately instruction in child sexual abuse and sexual violence prevention, and requires in-service staff training in child sexual abuse prevention. But then this was added, the bill also allows parents to opt their children out of the abuse prevention and dating violence prevention education. Senate Bill 131 requires an occupational licensing authority to issue a license or government certification to an applicant who holds a license, government certification, or private certification, or has satisfactory work experience in another state under certain requirements. Again, filling in those areas where we're having a hard time getting people who are licensed and can teach. And then finally, House Bill 462. I had to ask Nicole about this one. It says it prohibits swatting, and I asked her if that was swatting students, swatting flies. It is actually the swatting of, don't laugh at me, Williamson. It's actually swatting, when students call in and say that there's an emergency, to call the SWAT team. But I had to ask.
I thought it was corporal punishment.
That's it. That's what I thought.
We do strive for clarity,
I'm
right?
the only one that knew it was not for corporal punishment.
I didn't know it was a swatting thing, because I,
Okay, because like I knew, okay.
That's funny.
That's cool.
we watched too many crime shows.
Okay, Ms. King. Item,
Yes.
OSBA Student Achievement Liaison Report.
So my report is really just a question. So since I will be continuing as a student liaison, I wanted to ask the larger group. So every month I receive the Success newsletter, which is, it's an email with like different links. Would you, and generally that's what I report on during my liaison report, but would you all like for me to forward you a copy of that either before or after my report for reference?
That'd be great.
No. Okay, great.
Yep.
I didn't want to inundate everyone with another email if everyone's like, okay.
So hold on, I'm sorry, 1 second. You're talking about the newsletter.
Mhm.
Okay, so we get it.
I don't get it.
I don't always get it, yeah.
I just log in every month and read it.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna remember to log in.
Yeah, I'm
So
not
you
either.
can send it to me.
I'm sorry, I always do. I thought it was.
You're
That's why the school board president, okay?
We're not.
Okay?
You're
so
modeling.
privileged
You're
to
modeling.
stand
Well, when I
Modeling.
spoke to Kim, she said that you can only get it if you're the liaison. That's why it was an issue initially getting me set up.
It was in the,
We get the
when I opened up the
OSBA
briefcase,
briefcase, yeah.
I just Googled and it, okay, go ahead. I'll take it. Okay, like I always log on to the OSBA website. I do it like a couple times a week.
She's setting the model, you know? Yeah.
I will make sure to go ahead and forward that out every month. It's usually the beginning of the month when I receive it. But I'm also just very excited to continue as a student liaison for another year.
We're glad to have you.
All right, we can go right into item 2.2, Superintendent's Report.
I just gotta wish everybody a Happy New Year. I allow the jazz band to take my minutes here, but I just want to clarify with the board that there was a document that I laid on for all of you. It actually is from the state superintendent, interim superintendent. So really, it's a resolution requiring that I pass this information along. And so what you see before you is us complying with regards to making sure that each of you received it, as well as me as the superintendent. Okay, nothing more that for the need to do other than, I guess, read it. And that concludes my report.
Are there any public comments, Mr. Hill?
None.
All right, hearing none, we go right into item 3.1, the minutes. The minutes of the regular meeting of December 20th, 2023 will be approved as recorded or corrected. The reading of these minutes will be waived. May we get a motion to approve item 3.1?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Ryan, Ms. Falkenberg? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Right into item 4, Treasurer's Report.
Recommend for approval, item 4.1, the financial reports for month-end December 2022. Item 4.2, the bank reconciliation for month-end December 2022. Item 4.3, the investment earnings for month-end December 2022. Item 4.4, we've got 3 donations on there for approval. Item 4.5, the annual tax budget for fiscal year 2024. And item 4.6, ask for approval for items 4.1 through 4.5.
May we get a motion to approve items 4.1 through 4.5?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lee, Ms. Falkenberg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Under 5.0, certified personnel, I actually thought this was a mistake when it said no action. I don't know whether,
I don't think I've ever
This
seen
is a
that.
first.
I
This
don't
is
think in my
definitely a
11 years,
first.
we've never not had,
Bill?
Bill?
Oh,
So, and actually, Mr. Miller feels okay because I think he gave me a report that this year we had a lot of changes going on. I think we had about 80 people that we've on board. So I think he's appreciating a little bit of a breather.
A little break.
They'll make up for it next month.
Don't worry, next month we'll just be coming back. So we do not have any items that I had asked him 3 times. Let me get here. All right, so let's go 6.0 under classified. There we go. Recommending to the Board of Education to approve the following classified personnel items. And I think we've actually, I've gotten all of our security guards. We've had a few changes here with servers, changes in assignment, and a resignation.
May we get a motion to approve item 6.1?
So moved.
Second?
Any questions or comments?
You just got the whole Lozada family, huh? The father.
May we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Under 7.0 supplemental contracts, looks like it's springtime to approve the supplemental contracts for, as you can see, a lot of our spring sports for baseball, softball, track, tennis, and so forth.
May we get a motion to approve item 7.1?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg, Ms. King. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I had a question. My buddy Natasha Shorts, she's the boys' assistant track coach, but she's the girls' track coach, correct?
No,
Mr. Swinnerton is the girls' coach. She's coaching with her dad.
yes,
Okay.
yes, so I believe Mr.
Yeah,
Miller,
it
that's right,
says it
yep,
here.
Yeah,
So
she's coaching
she's-
with her dad. I talked to her. I know.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
But they worked the concession stand last week.
Hearing no further questions or comments, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Under 8.0 business, recommend the approval of item 8.1 with the Capital Aluminum and Glass Company. I think, let me look at my notes here, that could be for the Roland project. Is that right, for Roland? Okay. Under 8.2 Tyler Technology, as you can see there, it's for a transportation software. We'll be instituting a new, or implementing a new software for, and updating that for transportation, which is really, exciting, actually. I mean, it's always a new challenge, but, and then 8.3, approval of superintendent's business items as presented.
May we get a motion to approve items 8.1 and 8.2?
So moved.
Second.
Please, Ms. Ryan. Any questions or comments?
I did see someone posted on Facebook how nice the windows at Sunview look.
Yeah.
So just thought I'd let you know that.
It does, I know, it just changes the look. Not only does it really the classroom environment, and the teachers will really report that too, it's amazing, but it just does makes the buildings look, 20 years younger.
Yeah, there was a-
So where are we now? Are all the windows complete?
No, we still have a little ways. Memorial?
Working on a plan to finalize our last building. Sunview will finish the next week and a half or two, and then we're starting the phase in the window install at Memorial.
Oh.
That'll take us into another year or so.
Okay.
But, it's been, like I said, I mean, even look at Brush High School here. I remember we did half, on Farnhurst.
Yeah.
When we had half of them, it just looks so much newer. The building looks,
Definitely makes a difference.
I forgot to leave, am I on? Okay.
Hearing no further questions or comments, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Okay, now we're under 9.0, academics, technology, and innovation. Let me let this get caught up here. Under 9.1, recommend to the Board of Education to approve the following item for consulting, and this would be between, I think, Atticus Lane Consulting and the South Carolina School District to provide coaching and facilitation to English department. That would be high school, or just, okay. from January, from December to January. 9.2 is just approval of the academics, technology, and innovation items.
May we get a motion to approve item 9.1?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. King. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I had a question,
I'm
actually.
sorry.
We gotta adjust
So
the dates.
this has already started the middle of December, is that correct?
Yeah, so it started with the meetings with Ray and Tammy, and then now it's approved, I just leaned over to Josh, this will go through the year, right, through January 31st.
So adjust it to.
So
June
adjusting,
30.
Yeah, that's fine.
So what's the, why are we bringing in an outside group? I don't.
so one of the things, and I'll let Ms. Bastock can go ahead and expound it. One of the things you're looking at is to meet the curriculum department, meeting with the curriculum department to conduct an audit, a common assessment audit, looking at the type of assessments, and you may, okay, good, you can go ahead.
When I got here, that was one of the things that the instructor asked Sally, I had asked that they would like more to be specific to their area, to their content area. So that's pretty much what they're gonna come in and just work with the English department on, not their assessments, common assessments, their exams, but just ELA in general, and what the best practices are and what's new and everything. So it's really something that the English department had asked last year for, that the PD is more specific to ELA.
Okay, and this group, Atticus Lane, is from the Cleveland area, or?
No, this is somebody, I think it was from West
Yeah,
Windsor.
from Huron County, just around Norwalk area, former ELA teacher.
Yep.
Was in the Cleveland area, then was at Western Reserve.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
Moving on to 10.0, superintendent's items for student services and strategic partnerships, recommending the approval of 10.1, Kathy Tomorrow Consulting, second semester agreement, and should be working in classroom presentations for trauma-informed care and conscious discipline. 10.2, this is a memorandum of understanding with Cleveland Now, which is exciting. I think we're adding more time for our students. And then 10.3 is approval of the student services and strategic partnership items as presented.
Let me just clear one thing
Sure.
for somebody who doesn't have the document in front of them. So College Now of Greater Cleveland. I was like, College Cleveland Now? So it's the regular program that we've been utilizing for
Abs-
College Now? just
yes.
the- Okay,
Yes.
may we get a motion to approve items 10.1 and 10.2?
So moved.
Ms. King, Ms. Lee, any questions or comments? May we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. King,
Aye.
Ms. Lee, Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
Under 11.0, exceptional students, recommending the approval of 11.1 is a contract for professional services with the STEPS Educational Group to provide alternative education programming, again, for a student for the 22-23 school year. And then I believe that's the only item we have there as well. So 11.2, approval of the superintendent's items for exceptional students as presented.
May we get a motion to approve item 11.1?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg, Ms. Ryan, any questions or comments?
Did we have, and pardon me if I've forgotten, but did we have this same STEPS program for another student earlier
Okay,
this year? Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
thank you, Ms. Mose.
Hearing no further questions or comments, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. King,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Item 12, Board of Education, 12.1, any information that board wants to present? No. Any new and unfinished?
Well, let me go to my information. I left my phone at home, so I don't have the email, but I did pass out those. Did I mess
Yeah.
up your
Yeah.
No,
months?
no, it was great. Those
That's
are
good.
the right ones, yeah.
I know I remember that one.
Yeah.
And then you responded, so I think it's good.
Okay.
Oh, I just have to think, if anyone, for some reason, if you're not able to make your meetings, my evening schedule's kind of cleared up, so I might be able to cover.
You
So
can
just
have
let me
mine. I'm serious.
I'm
You have
calling you,
March.
Ashley, because I didn't do so good last week.
I'm March, you can take it.
But I'm gonna work very hard to get
Don't
those.
listen. Ashley.
No
Make
good
Aaron
deed.
sign a
know. Just
permission
let me know,
slip.
because the worst thing is if you both show up and you're like, oh, man.
Oh, I guess I gotta go.
Thank you for your generosity, but it will not be enacted upon at this time. Any other information? Do we have any PTA information? Any?
PTA meeting is tomorrow, right here, 7 o'clock, for Brush.
You have, that's the brush one. You probably got PTA council tonight. Okay.
PTA council tonight.
Miss Lee, where are we on?
What were you supposed to be
We
checking for us?
we are trying to be doing, Jesus, I'm sorry, we are looking into doing a board self-assessment. We are also, before we get to that though, I'm going to meet with Josh, this month. Josh, get with me and we can set a date. Me and Josh, we need to meet first.
Josh and I?
Huh?
Josh and I?
Oh, thank you, I'm sorry. Josh and I need to meet first, and then, because we also would have to figure out, because we would do it in a board,
Work session?
retreat,
Like a board retreat?
yes.
Okay.
So,
I have to add that to the schedule.
yeah, so we would have to add that, so, I will meet with Josh, and hopefully at the next meeting, I will be able to offer you all more information. But look for your emails too, because I'll probably email you all.
What's that in regarding?
Our board self-assessment.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you hear about that at Capitol Conference?
Yes.
Okay.
We sat in the class for Capitol Conference, and it was something that, we felt would be,
Beneficial.
beneficial to, our school district as well as our board, like I just stated, in regards to the cause and effect, and actually having some things solidified and a game plan for our board. And when we leave, our successor should be able to come in and say, hey, this is the structure in which, and the fundamentals in which this board enacted, and we wanna continue that, so.
That's a good idea.
That's fine.
All
Good
right.
deal.
And then, the board is gonna do Happy New Year lunch
Oh,
for the
nice.
administration building. Forgive me, I didn't email Lisa yet.
It's okay.
I'm horrible.
We've all been off to a fast start.
I'm thinking my intentions are to get with her this week, and I know Monday is a holiday, but maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I just want to make sure it's
I'll
a
mention it to
schedule
her.
that's conducive
Okay.
to. I don't want to double up on somebody else bringing in.
Yeah,
lunch.
we'll look, I think that would be work, gives us something to look forward to after the holidays.
So I think that's
Yeah.
what we'll do. We usually do it around December, but December was
Yeah.
rambunctious.
Okay.
Quick one.
So we're gonna do Happy New Year lunch.
So I will get that squared away.
Is it okay if I mention one thing when you're done? I forgot to mention that I'd like the board to know.
Yes.
I can do, okay.
We're gonna go with what we did before, and I left a message with them today, so they should be calling me back tomorrow, telling me the total, and then I'll let you guys know.
Gracias.
I'll just go ahead and do it and get it squared away. And
Good.
Dr. Reed?
Thank you.
New and unfinished business?
Yeah, there you go. It is 2023, and as I mentioned, I'm sorry I missed the December meeting. That was a really surprise. I heard it was very nice. Feeling a little bit better. But it is 2023, which I have been working behind the scenes with launching another strategic planning process. So I think that's the piece where I will have actually more information with regards to that. Actually working on a survey that would go out to families and community members and things like that. You know, in this new day and age, there's, you know, sometimes we can't always bring people together, but we might be able to collect information, a lot more volume in a different way. So stay tuned, and we plan on having I hope by our June board meeting that I am presenting maybe a final draft of a strategic plan, and when we look at that, we really kind of look at our mission statement, our vision statement, and our core beliefs. We're thinking about keeping those the same and really just working on our goals. It's just time to revisit those and revitalize, I shouldn't say just get people to look at them again without just blowing everything up. So I just want to let you know that I have not forgotten, and we're going to be on our way. And I know Mr. Hill had one more thing he wanted to mention as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I had emailed, you got the emails for the national conference? Okay. Just let me know, we got the registration taken care of, I just need to know places and timing of flights and things like that, so. For
You
both
going?
of you. You're still going, right?
You're still going in?
Yeah,
Isn't it March?
Good thing you mentioned
yes,
it.
It's
yes,
the end
yes.
of March.
It's the last week of March.
Correct.
Spring break week, I think.
I was
Where's
gonna
that?
ask you about it today either way, so we can
Okay,
talk after
so we
the
can
meeting.
talk Ashley.
I
No,
know- I
I
need to do
did,
some
and I went to
national
call
stuff.
you,
Uh-huh.
but the Ashley I have in my phone is the Ashley from Garfield. So I was texting the wrong, I was texting the wrong
She's inviting
Ashley.
someone
That's
else.
just-
New year, new her.
It's been a crazy couple
Apparently I
weeks
was
for me.
texting the wrong
I
one.
understand.
But yes,
Okay.
we are slated to still do that.
Okay, well, you're registered, I just need to know flight and hotel.
I'm sorry.
All good.
All right, item 12.3, board policy.
We got,
Policy adoption. Southie Glen Hills Board of Education approves the following board policies that were previously presented for first reading and preliminary review. Following policies were presented to first read and preliminary review at the board meeting held on December 20th. Policy 5335 and 5336 are both revisions regarding the care of students. May we get a motion to approve item 12.3?
So moved.
Second.
Sweet, Ms. Falkenberg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Any public comment, Mr. Hill?
None.
Hearing none. We don't have a need for executive session.
no,
No.
I don't think so. No.
It is now 6:30. May I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you for joining us.